I'm one of those people that, has had the lived experience of having the need from a mental health perspective to open myself up to something other than Zoloft. So as a clinician, I don't hide that story. I tell that story, and I think it helps me connect to some people who, like you said, might be unwilling to color outside the lines and really need to break through and get out of the pattern. What do you think would change in psychiatry, let's just say in the States, if every psychiatrist that was going to prescribe, before they started prescribing, they had to have some sort of encounter, a journey?
It's a really good question. I think it's a really interesting question. And I think that there's almost, well, there's many ways you can gain experience about something and have some level of knowledge and knowing, right? I think that psychedelics, because of the ways that they affect your consciousness, and I think some of the research that we've done around it using some of the tools that we have. So for example, psilocybin is notorious for being able to elicit what we call mystical types of experiences. And there's a specialness to that, right? Non-duality, or feeling like my individuality is merged with a greater life, with a greater consciousness, with a return to source, or like a drop, returning to the ocean. Feeling perfectly still in the moment or in eternity, right? And then ineffability, or it's impossible to adequately describe this with words. But then I think persons oftentimes go through very challenging sorts of periods where it's dysphoric, where there's nausea, where they can actually feel paranoid or suspicious, even in controlled environments with adequate preparation and good people around you and things like that. And so before we just begin signing up for persons because, hey, the clinical trial said it works, right? Before we begin signing people up for that, maybe it is reasonable to strongly consider some kind of personal experience with the agents.